Hello everyone and welcome to Sportsballin. I'm Dylan Simmons, joined by my co-host Evan Snyder and TJ Warner. Let's get on a roll like Paw Patrol as we get into the episode. A dramatic women's college basketball tournament came to an end last week as LSU faced off against Iowa. The phenomenal Caitlin Clark reached 30 points once again, but was left out to dry as none of her teammates reached 15. It made a huge difference for LSU, who had three 20-point scorers, helping to cap a 102-85 victory. TJ, was this a case of LSU just having the better overall team?
I would say I would say so, because if you look at the some of the statistics that are more of a team statistic, the rebounding factor of it. LSU, I know that LSU's a quite bigger, more athletic team than Iowa, but the rebounding factor, they rebounded them 23 on the defensive side and 14-7 on the offensive side. I mean, to double the offensive rebounds, all 14 of those rebounds, more than likely, I know at least 6 or 7 of them were just little putback layups afterwards.
Yep.
For LSU. I mean, that's just sheer size and effort by LSU is why they got those easy points. But if you also look at the shooting, they shot 65% from three.
Big time.
That is insane, especially for the national championship. What a time to step up and shoot the lights out, and LSU did that. They're definitely a bigger, more athletic team, like I said earlier. But LSU or Iowa, for instance, Caitlin Clark, they have the best player in women's basketball.
Absolutely.
Undisputedly. Yep. Mm-hmm. But the better team won this game.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You look at LSU compared to Iowa. LSU basically across the board beat them in every statistic possible for the most part. Outshot them, out-rebound them, everything. And one of the key factors, I think, honestly, was Jasmine Carson for LSU. She shot 83% from beyond the arc.
Yep.
And she was lights out. She was hitting every single shot that she was taking for the most part.
Off the bench, too.
Yeah, and off the bench, too. She wasn't even a starter. So, again, that goes back to what you mentioned, Dylan. LSU just had the better overall team. Everybody on their bench was contributing. All their starters are contributing. And you look at Iowa, it was really just the Caitlin Clark show like it's been basically all year long.
Yep.
And she had almost no support at all. And another cool thing was this was LSU's also first national championship.
Of all time. Yep.
Yeah, and Coach Kim Mulkey, for her is her fourth, and it's in her home state as well. She's from Louisiana, so it meant a lot to her as well. And also, I got to admit, them outfits were on point throughout the entire tournament and the entire season for her as well.
I was about to say the team plays as good as her fashion sense is because, man, they were showing out in this one. I got to say as well, LSU, again, I think the better overall complete team. And you know that SNL skit, LeBron and the Cavaliers? Well, it was Caitlin Clark and the Lady Hawkeyes because what we saw was her really trying to carry this team, and she did against South Carolina. But when none of your teammates get past 15 and you're the only one who puts up 30, I don't think you're going to have as good of a chance. And LSU, again, they've really done this all tournament. They handled Virginia Tech. They handled other teams like Miami as well, handled them pretty easily. They've been able to dominate in a lot of games thus far this tournament. And I think after that Tennessee loss in the SEC tournament, they turned it on to a different level, and they became a different kind of team, a team that was really dangerous. But another thing to consider, guys, Caitlin Clark, she's going to be back next year.
True.
I think Iowa's going to be right back in position. It's going to be awesome to see. Should be a fun one in the future. I think both of you guys would agree with that.
I definitely agree with that.
Yes, sir. All right, so the best March Madness tournament of all time has also met its end last week. The UConn Huskies proved sweeter than Easter egg candy as they clobbered the Aztecs en route to a 76-59 victory. This marks UConn's first time as having won every single tournament by double digits. The first time it has been done since 2018. What have UConn proven this tournament?
I think their sheer dominance from start to finish almost. I mean, the only time that they really kind of slowed up was towards the end of this game with about 6 or 5 minutes left. You see that they're only up by 5. That was really the closest stretch they really had all tournament long.
Yep.
They were dominating game in, game out. They dominated Arkansas early. They dominated teams they shouldn't. I feel like they shouldn't have blew out the water so early. They weren't even close to halftime, for instance. Like UConn, night in, night out, just every game. They're like, okay, this one maybe UConn can get by them, and they beat them by 25. It's just like night in, night out. Jordan Hawkins, Adama Sonago, dude, those guys, they're legit. They're legit, and they proved that this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, UConn basically came out of the gates firing all cylinders. And they basically ran away from this game from the tip-off. The other thing, too, I want to mention is every single starter for UConn had over 25 minutes. So you also look at that as well. They basically just outlasted San Diego State. They had their starters were basically in the entire game. I think the max minutes one of their bench players had was maybe 8 minutes in total. So it really just showed well-conditioned UConn was and how they're able to step up to the occasion. All these starters also were able to contribute and able to help UConn to this championship as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And I got to say, guys, this UConn team took one of my favorite tournaments, and it ended worse than that 70s show. It was a terrible ending, and they took all the fun and enjoyment out of it, and they made Jim Nance's final March Madness game into an absolute sleeper, and there's no forgiving that. But in all seriousness, they did play at a level that really nobody else had played with the entire tournament, and it shocks me that they were only a 4 seed because they did not look like a 4 seed throughout that entire tournament. They showed how good that they truly were. They proved that when you get on a hot stretch, you're hard to top. And again, Sonogo was absolutely lights out. He had 17 points, 10 rebounds in that final game, was playing at a different level. And really the whole team performed in a way that San Diego State, they just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And we got to consider this as well, guys. UConn, this is their 5th championship since 1999. They're proving that they're a true blue blood, a force to be reckoned with in the future, a really, really good team.
Yeah, UConn's great. And to think about this, too, they only made 6 threes. That's not necessarily a UConn type game too. They like to spread the ball out, run, get in transition, and shoot a lot of threes. And only making 6 and to still win by 17 against San Diego State, that's very impressive to me.
Very impressive.
San Diego State likes to slow the ball down and try to play a lot of good defense and not let you get out in transition. And it didn't matter for UConn. They just completely dominated that game.
Yeah, it just seemed like UConn just had San Diego State's number this entire thing as well. And the only thing that I want to point out about this final as well, it was actually one of the lower viewed ones in the past couple years, which is a little sad to see because it was a pretty entertaining game to watch.
It was too boring.
If you are a UConn fan, obviously, because they, again, just absolutely dominated like we've talked about this entire time. And I even said it before March Madness even started. You mentioned a little bit, Dylan, if you get hot at the right moment and at the right time, especially in the NCAA tournament, you're going to make a deep run and you're
going to have your one shining moment.
Exactly.
One shining moment. They certainly did have a shining moment. They were as dominant as Roman Reigns at WrestleMania throughout this tournament, guys. When we return, we will set the stage for the Grizzlies' trip to the postseason and the Predators clawing for a final postseason spot. All that and more when we come back on Sportsballin.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not. Go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
Welcome back. The Grizzlies struck back against the Oklahoma City Thunder yesterday in their final regular season game. The Grizzlies rested most of their starters in an effort to save them for postseason play. Despite a 115-100 loss, Kenneth Lofton Jr. had an incredible night with 42 points and was backed up by solid teammate performances. With the postseason upon us, is Memphis a team that can get to the finals, guys?
I wouldn't go as far as saying that. I mean, we gotta see them actually perform in the playoffs so far. I mean, we've seen them perform in the play-in games, and we haven't seen them quite make a deep run in the playoffs yet. Let's slow your roll on that. I think they're a good team. They're well deserving of the 2 seed this year, no doubt about it.
Definitely.
They've been a great regular season team. But playoff time and regular season is 2 different things, and they're still a pretty young team. And veteran play is what makes deep runs in the playoffs at the end of the day. And shooting, and I just don't know if this team has the veteran play. They necessarily might have the shooting night too, and might not have shooting night. So make a deep run in the playoffs, I'm not too sure about that yet.
It's because, I mean, if you look at the Western Conference, I think really the only competition for the Grizzlies is the Denver Nuggets.
And then on the opposite side of the bracket.
I disagree with that.
Obviously, they won't play them until the Western Conference Finals, but I think, honestly, the Grizzlies will get to that matchup. It will be Nuggets versus Grizzlies because, I mean, they play the winner of the Timberwolves and the Lakers in the playoff game, the Grizzlies do, and I think they beat either one of those teams single-handedly with ease. And I think, honestly, they have a cakewalk to the conference final.
With ease.
With ease,
Yes,
with ease is a little bit. I think that's a bit premature.
They're also resting all their guys, so John Morant's
and
going to be pretty
can come
fresh.
back to
Desmond
bite
Bain's
you
going to also.
They could be
because
rusty now.
It could be rusty. We've seen
They're
that
not going
happen
to get
a
rusty.
lot in the playoffs before.
They're NBA players.
Listen,
they can shoot a 3 with
the
their eyes
Lakers
closed.
are, and I hate to say this because I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a Celtics fan.
I think
but
the Lakers could
the
beat them.
Lakers are as hot as any team in the NBA right now, and
And then they might play the Kings or the Warriors second round.
Yeah.
The Warriors could beat them too.
Exactly. I mean, I think that the West is pretty well stacked this year. Plus, you got the Suns still around. All of these teams are going to cause massive problems. It's not going to be easy for the Grizzlies. They got a tough road ahead. The Predators, however, may not be able to stay the same after a bad trip to Winnipeg on Saturday. The Predators ended up playing off against Winnipeg and suffered a 2-0 loss in tough fashion. Guys, what do you make of this performance?
Man, it's
Fire John Hines.
I feel like we just keep saying this week and week and week, like,
It's like Groundhog Day.
what's going on with the Preds? Are
Groundhog
the
Day.
Preds going to ever
Yeah.
turn it around? Are they
It
going to
is,
do this? Are they
yes.
going to do that? Man, I've given up hope on them a long time ago. I don't know why we seem to feel like we have hope every once in a while, though. I don't know.
I had a slight hope, but after this loss against Winnipeg,
You say that every week.
Heart
You
ripped
say-
out.
you say that
Yes.
it's at this point,
They're playing
I'm
with your
surprised I still
feelings.
have hair on my head from this season because we go from, a month, 2 left in the season, we're in the wild card spot, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden,
And then we're back
basically
out.
10 points back. But there's still
We're
hope.
back
There's still hope, guys.
Yeah, no.
Still
we just
hope.
have to
still
hope.
No, there's no
The
hope.
Preds beat the Calgary Flames. The Flames have to lose out.
Evan, there's no
The
hope.
Winnipeg Jets. Listen to me. I just want to see the Preds back at the playoffs, man.
Look, I
to
do
get a first
too,
round
and they
exit.
haven't.
True, but at least we'll make the playoffs. Still fire John Hines, though.
Yes.
But there's hope.
But that's the thing. Do you want the Preds to make the playoffs? Because if they do, that might convince them to keep John Hines around, and we don't want that.
True, you're right.
So this is why the Preds
just
need
came
to
to
lose these
realization.
final
Yeah.
games. And
It's that
listen,
Eureka
the
moment.
Preds have made the playoffs for every single year since 2014, and this is what we've got. It's honestly sad, and really since the trade deadline, we've been disappointed in them. We haven't
We
really
lost to
covered them a lot.
Niederreiter.
Yeah, exactly. When they lost Niederreiter,
We lost to our boy that we
Yeah.
traded away for peanuts.
exactly. When they lost Niederreiter, the season was over then. And they've sunk the little bit of hope that I had deep into the Cumberland River. It's not coming out. It's sad. And I'll give credit to Connor Hellebuck. He played a great game as the goalie. 2-0, great win for the Jets. But I feel like Nashville dropped the puck on this one, and
Oh, they did more than just drop the puck.
they dropped everything. And
I
it's-
think, you know what we should do with John Hines?
What's that?
Take him down to the Chattahoochee River and just leave him there.
Just leave him
Leave
there?
him there.
Just leave him
Don't
there.
allow him back in Nashville. Don't allow him anywhere near a 200-foot radius of Bridgestone Arena.
And just,
Get rid of him. I don't want to see him again.
you just don't want to see him at all.
No.
All right, you know
I'll
what?
Send him back to Jersey or whatever.
I don't think they want him either. This season for the Predators has unfortunately blown up like the Death Star.
Oh, big time.
When we come back, it's time to burn like fire, Mario, with our hot takes of the week. Stick around.
To pose, now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down. Oh.
I'm here. Can you see me? Because I feel like I'm invisible. Like this whole place is invisible. If it weren't for the nightly news, no one would even think of this place. But down here, things look different. Down here, our spirits are bright and our dreams are vivid. And if given a chance, that's what the world would see.
In the past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
I hope you preheated the oven because it's time for Hot Takes of the Week. TJ, what are you serving up?
So my hot take, and let's remind you guys, this is Hot Takes of the Week. I have the Braves will win the World Series this year, and I'll give you
Scorching.
I'll give you my reasons why. The addition of Sean Murphy, I think that's a big thing for the Braves. I mean, he won the Golden Glove Award in 2001, and he really put it together at the plate last season. I think they have a top 5 bullpen, arguably top 3. We talked about that early in the show.
Top
Top
5.
five. Top
And
five
the
in the NL,
emergence
yeah.
of Spencer Strider. They have 2 #1 pitchers now, Max Fried and Spencer Strider. Those guys, they're legit and they're on the rise. And I think they're hitting the ball well. Another reason, Ronald Acuna Jr., that ACL injury is not affecting him now this year. You can tell he has a different jump and juice to him this year.
Fair enough.
I think they're putting it together at the right time. And who knows, some may key additions later down the line in the trade deadline might happen too, but I think the Braves are going to be good this year, and they're going to win the World Series.
I don't necessarily agree if this is really a hot take.
Oh,
It's like lukewarm. It's
Hey,
like
warm.
That
it's
means
like
you
it's
kinda
like
agree
you
with me.
pulled
It's
it-
a hot
It's like you
take,
pulled
though.
it
You kinda
out of
agree
the
with me. I'll
oven,
take
you
it.
let it
I'll
on the
take it.
window seal a little too
Some
long.
warm chocolate chip cookies, some melted chocolate.
Melted chocolate.
So the thing is, so here's the thing with the National League this year with the MLB. Really just across the entire MLB in general. There's a lot of teams this year that are really, really good. And the Braves, they'll make it to the playoffs, don't get me wrong.
They will.
I say they lose in the NLDS because you have teams like the Padres, you have the Dodgers, you have all those good teams in the American
Brewers.
League. You have the Brewers too,
Yep.
who can be
Hey,
a dark horse
we've
as
shown
well.
we can beat the Brewers. We're fine.
You have,
All
and then you
right.
look at the American League this year. You have teams like the Mariners, you have the Red Sox, Rays, Yankees. You have a bunch of good teams. In the
You only got to
American
play
League.
one of them.
True, you only got to play one of
You
them.
only gotta play-
But
He's not
you
lying.
just look at the American League East. If the Braves match up with almost any of those teams, maybe minus the Orioles because they're still kind of rebuilding a little bit, I don't think the Braves can really compete with any teams in the American League, and it's really going to be hard this year in the National League because
Wow.
there's the juggernauts that are always
That's
there.
crazy.
Here's the thing with the NL especially. I think the NL East is still a very stacked division. I mean, you got the Phillies who just made the World Series. I know they got wrecked by the
Marlins?
Rangers. Marlins,
They're
I'm
a
not
dark
as-
horse.
I'm not as high
That's
on
a
the
hot
Marlins.
take right there.
But of course, you can't forget about the New
Marlins to
York
playoffs.
Mets. The Mets are going to be a team that
Mets,
can
baby.
contend. I know they lost Edwin Diaz before the season even started, and Verlander's had his issues. But the Mets are still a dangerous team. But I do worry a little bit about the Braves' consistency. That's going to be the biggest thing. Can they keep it up? In the NL, like I said, stacked. And don't forget about those Diamondbacks.
Hey, they don't have to be
No.
consistent until
Yes.
late
No.
September, October. Then they'll be
I'm
consistent.
telling you. All right. Evan, what's your hot take?
Diamondbacks, that's crazy. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the Valorant Champions Tour. My hot take is 100 Thieves will win VCT Americas. Their season just kicked off. Currently, 100 Thieves is 1-1. They started off 1-1. They lost their first match to Sentinels 2-1, but it was a very, very close match. Then they absolutely dominated Evil Genius in this match y'all are seeing right now. 2-0. Looked really good on Icebox, which was map 2, where I believe they beat Evil Genius 13-5.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's a slaughter right
That's
there.
bad. Yeah.
And you also look at this 100 Thieves roster. This is probably the best roster that they've assembled in a while. You have Asuna, Derek, Cryocells, who's arguably one of the top oppers and duelists in VCT Americas right now. You also have Bang and Stellar, who's the IGL and who's at the helm of this. But you do have some juggernauts in this VCT Americas as well. You have Loud, who are the world champions coming off it. They're currently 2-0. They've come off some pretty dominant performances as well. You also have Furia, the other Brazilian team in this, who they've also looked really, really good. You also got teams like Cloud9, you have NRG, you have Sentinels again, who could also make a run where they have 10s at the helm of that team.
Yep.
It's going to be a bit of a challenge for 100 Thieves to get it done, but I honestly think come time by week 8, 100 Thieves is in that playoff picture.
I don't know if I necessarily agree. Remember, VCT Americas is a very, very tough competition, international competition. You're talking about teams from all over the esports landscape.
True.
And they've already lost, again, to the Sentinels, albeit in a close game, 2-1. And they did get that victory over Evil Geniuses, as you meant. But this team's got very low odds to win. And I think there's even teams like Loud and, as you mentioned, NRG Esports that could really come out of this, that could make a run in 2023. I mean, I'm looking at some of these other teams as well. I think even Leviathan. I mean, that's a long
True.
shot.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can make a run.
Leviathan
They got
could
some
be a
talent, and they
sleeper.
just signed 2 of KRU Esports' best players. So legit good team. But moving on, I'm going to say this. We are getting a Celtics versus Suns matchup in the NBA Finals. It's going to happen. And I haven't worn these babies, and hey, listen, not a bandwagon, all right? Listen, we have to respect. I know you guys are the biggest Celtics haters this side of the Mississippi, but here's the facts. The Boston Celtics have been playing a different brand of basketball this year. Jason Tatum, the top scorer in the league, 2,225 points. Highest score in the league overall. And you've got to think about this too. Jaylen Brown makes for one of the best 1-2 punches in the league. And they just overall have done an impressive job throughout the season. And don't forget what they did to your Milwaukee Bucks. Put up 140 in your house. You lost by 41
okay, don't even bring that
On
in.
the dome.
There's a reason that for
On the
that happened.
dome.
They were
Oh,
on back-to-back.
okay.
They played away at Philadelphia the
my,
day before.
here come the
So they
excuses.
came back and they were like, all right, this game doesn't matter.
You know the Celtics have their number.
So-
and don't use the Chris Middleton excuse because we beat them with Chris Middleton time and time again. And I haven't worn these since season 1, but this is a special
Oh, he's busting
occasion.
the shades
I
off.
brought them back.
Oh.
I have to wear this because the future is just too bright for the Boston Celtics. And as for the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant, the Suns themselves are undefeated with Durant this season. You got Booker, you got DeAndre Ayton.
He's only played like 8 games.
It doesn't matter. He's going to
undefeated,
come
though.
out and he's going to
Hey,
perform
no.
as he did
Oh.
with Golden State. The
With
Suns
people
to
that
me
are
run the
resting their
gambit.
players.
The Suns
Oh.
are going to get in the NBA Finals, and I know KD's going to step up,
All right.
in my opinion. What do you guys have to say?
All right.
I'm going to, okay,
Go for
before
it.
you
Go,
rip into
go for
them,
it. Go for it.
for once, for the people out there, I'm actually kind of agree with Dylan on this one a little bit. As a Boston Red Sox fan, you know, I kind of have to support the Boston Celtics a little bit.
Dang
you know,
right.
Got to support.
Dang
Got
right.
to support.
Yes.
I honestly think, yeah, the Celtics will make the NBA Finals. It's now a bigger question, the Suns, because again, we talked about it earlier. You have the Grizzlies that could potentially shock a lot of people. Of course, you have the Denver
I can
Nuggets
see
who
it.
could
I
also
can see it.
potentially make it to the finals as well. Those are 3 teams that I think that obviously can make the finals. So I think obviously the Celtics make it in because there's not really a lot of competition in the Eastern Conference. But you look at the Western Conference, it's either the Nuggets, Grizzlies, or the Suns in the finals. You just have to wait and see. But I kind of agree with Dylan, though. Celtics will be in there. Celtics honestly probably will win it as well because they've showed they're the best team in basketball.
Appreciate that, sir.
No, bro. The Celtics are not it, bro. And the same thing about Phoenix. Phoenix, all right, their roster on paper looks great, but do
It
they have the
is.
depth to make the run? I don't know so. West is too deep. I just don't think. I think Phoenix has the talent to do it. Do I think they have the depth to do it? I just don't think so. Celtics,
Hey, no, KD.
1-2 punch, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, cool. You got it. I don't care. Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, they better. 1 seed,
You're a
2
Bucks
seed.
bandwagon,
Hey,
and-
hey, but the 76ers or Nets,
from
they
you.
have the possibility to beat the Celtics
Yes.
too, bro. So no, the Celtics are not doing it.
Sixers aren't doing
I still think
anything.
Bucks
The
get it
Nets,
done.
we've destroyed
Joel
them many a
Embiid,
time.
MVP.
Oh, my God.
Wow. All right.
JT MVP. All right, guys, I think we've got this smoldering in here now. When we come back, we hope to have more success than our March Madness brackets with our picks of the week. We'll be right back.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not. Go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one.
'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Welcome back to Sports Ballin'. It is time for our picks of the week. First up, we've got the Nashville Sounds versus Norfolk Tides, Tuesday at 6:35.
Hey, Nashville Sounds, I'm taking them on this one.
I'm going the Tides, first of all. Seahorse mascot. Second of all, they're 7-1.
Can't beat that.
So, Tides.
I'm going with the Sounds in this one. I like the Sounds and the way they've been playing this year. They've had some ups and downs, but have had a really nice opening stretch. I think the Sounds take it. Next up, we've got the Nashville Predators at the Minnesota Wild, Thursday at 7.
Yeah, I'm taking the no, I'm kidding. I'm taking the Wild by a long shot.
Sorry, yeah, Wild.
He's so disillusioned with the Nashville Predators. I can't say that I don't feel his pain, and hopefully this will be one of the final games of the John Hines era. Give me Minnesota, please, Wild. Do what you have to do. It's for the greater good.
Please.
And finally, Nashville SC at New York City FC, Saturday at 6:30.
I like the way Nashville SC is playing. Give me Nashville SC.
My only saving grace to save me from the Predators' atrocity, Nashville SC.
I'm going to take Nashville SC in this one. I think overall with Nashville SC, they've had some struggles as of late, but you still have to look at the consistency that they've played with thus far this season. And Evan, I think you know that they've been cleaning it up as of late.
No, I mean, their last game they did go to full time and they did draw, but I mean they looked pretty solid in that game. The last couple games they have looked pretty good, and they've already played
New York City FC. Right, they did
at the beginning of the season, so they already kind of know the looks that they're going to get. So yeah, I think Nashville SC gets this one.
I have to agree with that. All right, guys. Well, it's time to finish the story like Cody Rhodes. Okay, maybe not quite like that. Make sure to catch Sports Ballin' every week right here on Blue Raider Television. For Evan Snyder and TJ Warner, I'm Dylan Simmons saying so long, and remember, have an electric